Welcome back to one of the Bears Drop Plays YouTube channel. Today is Saturday, December 14th, and I'm back with a brand new slate of college basketball on a Saturday afternoon. We have a massive slate of college basketball. I think I'm going to be breaking down 7 or 8 plays. 2 of them are going to be graphic plays, 2 big games. We have 5 or 6 games I'm going to talk about after that. We have player props coming up. First video back since Tuesday. Feel great. It was weird not recording for a long time. I haven't missed multiple days on this channel since I've started it. Felt really good. I'm not going to lie. It was nice not doing the videos, but I missed it. I really did. I really missed these videos, and I enjoyed doing it. So I'm back, and the time away was nice. Had family in town, but, family goes away, and we got to get back to the grind. And we're going to do it with a massive slate of games on Saturday afternoon. We're going to start with the top 25 battle. Gonzaga going up against UConn. I've talked about both these teams a lot this season. I think the Zags might be better than the Huskies. I know that they're technically ranked higher than them, but really, the rankings don't do anything for me. I understand that they have somewhat of an idea of the top 25 teams, who they are, but they really don't know. Those numbers are just there, to make people happy. Those rankings change every single week. Some teams get hot, some teams get cold. Just matters how these teams are playing come February into March. So the rankings don't really have any effect on me. What I do know is that both these teams have been playing some pretty good competition. The Huskies coming off back-to-back wins against Texas and Baylor. Gonzaga taking that 1-point loss, devastating loss to Kentucky. Kentucky somehow forced overtime. I think Kentucky won that game by 1 point in overtime. Gonzaga had the lead in that game. I feel like I want to say it was 44 minutes, and they played overtime, and I honestly think Gonzaga might have held the lead for 44 minutes of the 45 in total. But Gonzaga coming off that tough loss, I do think Gonzaga's going to win this game. I'm going to take them minus 3.5. I also think Gonzaga has more talent than the Huskies. I know they have Alex Caravan. They've got Liam McNeely down there, but overall, Gonzaga, we see dominant play in the paint. We see great shooting from the outside. We see a true point guard in Ryan Nembhard. I love Dan Hurley. I love him. Maybe a little bit too much. Maybe that clouds my judgment with UConn a little bit too much, especially in the tournament because he's had so much success. I love the energy. I love the passion he brings. That's what college basketball needs more. I know a lot of people don't like him, but I love him. I think his team's going to be outmatched in this one just off of pure talent. I'm going to take Gonzaga minus 3.5 as the play. Next play, we're going to be looking at NC State going up against the Kansas Jayhawks in Lawrence, Kansas. NC State has been a fine team this season. The one problem I have with them in the Ken Palm lift, that is a list I will look at instead of the rankings. You can look at the rankings if you want. Ken Palm top 25 shows you the best teams in the nation. NC State has not beat a top 50 Ken Palm team this season. They failed to beat them 3 times already. Purdue, they lost by 10. BYU lost by 11. Texas by 4. Texas has not been very good this season. I think they will get better. BYU's been okay this season. I think they will also get better. But Purdue, I think, is wildly overrated. I don't think they're going to be better. I don't think they're a very good team. NC State has 3 losses on the season. To those 3 teams that I just named, they've been able to win their very, very easy games, 7 of them, but they've lost all their tests inside the top 50. They now have to go to Lawrence, to one of the best teams in the nation. I know the Kansas dropped back-to-back games, lost to Creighton, lost to Missouri in the Border War. That's a rivalry game. I did have Kansas in both of those games. Creighton couldn't miss a shot. Missouri couldn't miss a shot, played good defense. Kansas didn't play well in either of those games. But now, Kansas is back home in Allen Fieldhouse. This place is going to be rocking the number 1 home court or home field advantage in any sport. NBA, college basketball, NBA, NFL, college football. The best home court or home field advantage is at Lawrence, Kansas, the home of the Jayhawks in Allen Fieldhouse. I've been there several times. If you haven't, you got to go. You literally cannot hear yourself talking to the person next to you. It is the loudest stadium in the history of sports. It sounds like jet engines taking off before the game. You can guarantee that these kids in that stadium are going to be fired up after coming off back-to-back losses. The players are going to be ready. Bill Self, I don't know. I can't remember the last time Bill Self lost 3 consecutive games. I know it was not that long ago because there were so many records that Bill Self had broke, and he had so many consecutive wins in a row, and he'd only lost 2 games in like the last 15 years back-to-back, and then he broke that record a couple years ago. But Bill Self does not lose at home, and he typically does not ever lose back-to-back-to-back games. The Kansas Jayhawks will be ready for this game. They're going to put up 90-plus, maybe 100-plus points. They're going to show that they're one of the best teams in the nation. I still think Even though they've lost back-to-back games, they have all the talent in the world. They're going to find a way to get it done. Third time's a charm for me on the Jayhawks. Give me them minus 13.5 as the other play. Let's go to the player props before we get to the other plays. I think we have 5 or 6 of them later on down the road. First player prop of the day. We've already gone to Ryan Nembhard one time this season. We're going to go back to him. He did cash in last time over his total assists. We're going to go over his total assists in this game, probably 9.5 as the play. He's averaging 10.8 assists per game. That's the best in college basketball. Nobody's close to this guy's talent with the ball in his hand. He is the general for this Gonzaga team. He's had the ball in his hand the majority of the games, and he's been carving up opposing teams. Whenever they've been good or bad, the opposing team, he has been able to rattle off assists. He has double-digit assists in 5 consecutive games. Gonzaga is a very good team with their assist numbers this season. It's mainly because of Ryan. He has been able to find the open man, and Gonzaga has been a great team for him because they're making the open shots. Half of the battle is getting the ball to the man. Half the other battle is making the shot, and they have been able to make shots whenever he gives them the ball. I do think both these teams have been fairly good defenses on this season, but it feels like whenever fairly good defenses go head-to-head in college basketball especially, we see both these teams score in the 80s. So I do think better offense typically beats better defense unless you're playing Houston. At the college level, it is pretty hard to find players who can make shots like NBA players. I think we got a couple NBA players on both sides in this game. So I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game, even though the defense has been decent this season. I'm going to take Ryan Nembhard to have himself another 10-plus assist game, over 9.5 as the first play. And for the last player prop, we're going to be looking at Tennessee going up against Illinois. We just talked about shooting like NBA talent. This is an NBA talent. Shaz Lanier to go over his total points going up against Illinois. This is a transfer from North Florida. He was not very good his first 3 seasons in college basketball, but last season he took a massive step forward, made 51% of his shots, 44% from deep, scored 19.7 points per game. This is not a guy who's going to fill up the stat sheet either. He's just out there for one purpose and one purpose only. He scores. He's a scorer. He's now averaged 19-plus points for the Tennessee Volunteers, getting his first play in a Power 5 conference. So far, it looks like he's up to the challenge, playing against tougher opponents. He's shooting 48% from the field, 48.6% from deep. So technically, he's shooting better from behind the arc than in front of it. He's attempted 8-plus threes per game on average as well, so he's taking a lot of shots from the outside. He's just not missing. He's averaging nearly 4 made threes per game. He's coming off 5 consecutive matchups, scoring 18-plus points. He was able to score 20-plus points in 4 of those 5. And I think the most impressive matchup he's had on the season was against Virginia. That is a very, very good Virginia defense. He was able to score 26 points. He made 6 threes, and he was the overall reason Tennessee was able to win that game. They won 64-42 in an absolute disgusting matchup. This is another big-time game, though, going up against Illinois. He's been good against good opponents on the season. I think he's going to fill up the scoring column once again. I'm going to take his over total points as the final player prop of the day. Let's go over to the recap graphic. We've got a lot. 5 more plays to look at. Starting with Memphis, going up against Clemson. Short, sweet, and to the point with these. I am going to bet them all for 1 unit. I just wanted to put those 2 big games up there. The most confident games, I guess I can say. I think Gonzaga is really good, and I think Kansas is going to blow out NC State. But let's take a look at these other games. Memphis going up against Clemson. Memphis has been a team over the last couple of years that I would say has disappointed me or underperformed as a team in general. I think they're a pretty good team this season, but the way Clemson's been playing lately, both sides of the ball, they do it both ways, defensively, offensively, and they're at home. We're going to see Chase Hunter once again put on a stellar performance. I think Memphis doesn't play defense. That's going to kill them in this game. Clemson's very efficient on offense. They will play defense at home. I'm going to take them minus 6.5 as the play. Texas A&M going up against Purdue. I just talked about Purdue. I don't think they're a very good team. I don't think they're a top 25 team. We saw them over the last 4 years play big man ball down low with Zach Edey. Now they got to kind of run an offense. Now they've kind of got to guard in the paint. They didn't typically have to do that with Zach Edey. The defense has been worse this season. The offense has been inefficient. Going up against Texas A&M, this is not an easy game. I know Texas A&M's on the road, but I do think Texas A&M is the better overall team. I'll take them with the point plus 1.5. I was going to take them minus the points because I thought they were going to be the favorite, but they're not. They're getting a point. I will take that point. I am not high on Purdue this season. Next game, Tennessee going up against Illinois. I'm going to keep on taking Tennessee because I feel like they actually got this ranking right. I think Tennessee right now is a team that could battle Kansas for one of the best teams in the nation. And I know Kansas is 10 and everybody goes off the numbers, but if you look at the rosters, if you look at who they've played, if you look at how they've played, I don't know how you cannot say Kansas doesn't have one of the best rosters. I mean, just look at the rosters. I do think Tennessee is very good this season. They are also a team that plays both ways, defensively, offensively. I talked about that Virginia game. Virginia, one of the best defenses in the nation, held them to 42 points, scored 64. So they beat one of the best defensive teams by 20-plus points with no problem. I do think Illinois is pretty good themselves. Haven't been extremely happy with Illinois. They haven't been profitable. We didn't have them against Alabama. I did watch that game. I was impressed with Illinois did because Alabama likes to run and gun. But I think Tennessee is the way better team in this matchup. So I'm going to take them minus 3.5 as the play. Next play, Marquette going up against Dayton. This one's interesting because if this is a low-scoring game, I think that benefits Dayton. I don't know if you guys have ever watched Dayton play over the last couple years, but it feels like whenever Dayton finds themselves in like a 54-52 matchup, they always find a way to win those. I think both these teams are really good. I think Marquette can be one of the best teams in the nation because not only do they have team chemistry, multiple players coming back from last year, they do have their leading scorer as well from last year, and they play defense just as well as they score. So this is one of those best teams in the nation that I talk about all the time. I do think if Marquette comes out and, puts up 20 points in the first 6 minutes, which they definitely can do, if they get up by 5 or 10 points against Dayton pretty early, I think this could be a blowout. If they keep it close, if Dayton keeps it close and it's a disgusting 50-50 game with a couple minutes left, Dayton might be able to win that. So I'm going to take Marquette here. Hopefully they start fast. I'm going to take them minus 1.5 as the play. And then finally we have Creighton against Alabama. I hate Creighton this season. They have the European player, played pro for 4 years. Don't remember the name off the top of my head. He was going to go to the NBA draft, but unfortunately for Creighton, he's not eligible yet. They're still working on his eligibility. Pop Isaacs has been their best scorer so far. He is out for the season now with I believe it was a hip surgery. He torched the Kansas Jayhawks in his last game. But yeah, I'm not high on Creighton. Cockburner hasn't been great. And with Pop Isaacs out, that's a lot of their scoring that's gone down the drain. They still don't have the European pro player playing for them. So this is a game Alabama should easily win. I have Alabama minus 9.5 as of right now. I think it's at minus 9. They're also going to be at home. I've been impressed with Alabama. Even without Wright-Sell out there on the floor, they're still putting up a lot of points. So I'm going to take Alabama minus 9 as the final play. All the plays together. Gonzaga minus 3.5. Kansas minus 13.5. Clemson minus 6.5. Texas A&M plus 1.5. Tennessee minus 3.5. Marquette minus 1.5. Alabama minus 9.5. A lot of chalk. I'm not going to lie. I did not really see that. But you know what? Can't change it now. I'm confident. I'm confident on all those plays. Ryan Nembhard over 9.5 dimes, and then Chaz Lanier. This one could be more, could be less. Over 18.5 points going up against the Fighting Illini. Guys, it's going to do it for the NCAA basketball picks and props for Saturday, December 14th slated games. If you guys enjoyed the content, please sure to drop a like on this video and subscribe to the channel below. See you guys next video, and thanks for watching.